Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, hello, hello. Believe it or not, this live stream is starting only 1 minute after the official start time, which has probably hardly ever happened. Good morning. So, this is going to be a group energy healing live stream where I heal. Let me know if you can see and hear me, please. But this is going to be a group energy healing live stream where I heal 130 people in 9 different countries. And the theme is more healing for traditional Chinese medicine meridians. TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. And healing these meridians of the physical body can help your physical body, but it can also very much help you on an emotional level, a mental level, psychological level, spiritual level, all that stuff. And obviously going to see an acupuncturist to get your meridians treated with acupuncture can be really wonderful. But in these healings, we are just using energy to unblock the meridians and repair the little chakras that are acupuncture points. I call them minor chakras, just because they're not the 7 major chakras along the spine, 7 major astral chakras or 7 major physical chakras. Any chakras other than those I call minor chakras, but they're very important. They're just smaller in size too, so that's part of why minor kind of made sense for me. But anyway, so we are going to do really cool healing with traditional Chinese medicine meridians and the little chakras within them today, and also the Wei Qi auras. Each of these I have been explaining this month basically has been all healings on traditional Chinese medicine meridians, a lot more than usual, like pretty much focusing on that. And so I'm putting all the 5 healings. This is the final 5th healing of the month. This is a set of 2 healings, but then we did a set of 3 healings before that. So it's 5 healings all told with this same theme about healing your traditional Chinese medicine meridians. And they'll all be in the same playlist for your easy reference. How today's healing will be much different. I was about to explain some technical stuff, which I will get back to, but how today's healing will be much different actually is that it will be less technical than the other healings we did this month. We've done a lot of detailed work, and I've played videos of each separate meridian, you know, and it's very cool to learn that stuff, and I think the live streams that we did, you know, this month so far can potentially really help you, guide you through doing more detailed healing on your meridians. But the kind of healing that I want us to do today on the meridians does not require knowledge of the names and locations of the meridians and their direction of flow and stuff like that, because we're gonna just imagine them all like 12 rivers that flow into each other, and then 2 other helpful rivers that help those 12 rivers. So the GV and CV meridians, which are called Du and Ren, I believe, in Chinese medicine, but we call them GV for governing vessel and CV for conception vessel meridians. That's the English names for them. So anyway, GV and CV are like 2 helpful rivers that help the 12 primary meridians, which they all, each one flows into the other. Like it's like there's an order of flow to them, which you can be reminded of if you look at the playlist that I have under all these videos. I always have the detailed healing summary within a day and the optional video links, and there is a 12 video playlist with 1 video for each of these regular meridians, and they're arranged in the order of flow. So you can see, oh, the lung meridian flows into I'm forgetting it now. The lung meridian goes out to there, and then that's the large intestine meridian, and then that goes up here, and then that goes into the stomach meridian. So it's like boom, 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 boom. But anyway, so today you don't have to know the names and the locations and the fingertips and the toes and which and where. So I think it will probably be the most approachable of the 5 healings that we've done this month. The other stuff is learnable, and it's easy when you watch, the videos that I play in the live streams, but it may take a level of discipline and non-avoidance that a lot of people are not ready for yet. And so I think that's part of why we need this healing today this way, and also just what I want to teach is more easily taught this way by just imagining, the 12, a big long river of the 12 primary meridians, and then the GB river and the CV river, as helping those 12, that set of 12 rivers. So it works out. And we will do review of some stuff that we've sort of like best of stuff that we've done in this month so far, but only the high level version of it where you do all of it at once. So we won't do like subgroups today of like all the meridians that start in your eyes, or all the meridians that start around your chest and your underarm, or all the meridians that start in your fingers, or all the meridians that start in your toes. We did that quite a bit in the last healing 2 days ago, and also in the third healing of the triplet. But and that is cool, but I don't think we need to do it today. So it'll just be all gold mesh spheres at once of your Weichi auras, all worst points, all first points, and then all blocks causing resistance, all blocks causing denial, all blocks causing avoidance, and then we'll do the river work. I'm going to call it the river work. Your meridian river, the 12 primary meridian river, and then the GB river and the CV river. Just because, if you see it just has like this kind of like a stream that goes, you don't have to know, how it bends around this part of your shoulder and it goes forward and it crosses over. You don't have to know places in your body. So that might be, so it might be techniques that more people are likely to practice on their own too, which is good. Don't feel bad if all this stuff has just freaked you out and you haven't done any of it on your own. It's understandable. All right. So it says, hey, Janet, I can see and hear you from sunny Las Vegas, 71 degrees and sunny in Las Vegas. That's nice to think about. Here it is rainy, although we got lucky. It was raining much harder a few hours ago, and now it's not raining that hard. It's sort of bright cloudy at this time of year now. Like in the winter, it's dark cloudy, but now it's bright cloudy, which I prefer, of course. Someone says, hiya, Janet, see and hear you, 59 and getting sunny in San Diego, North County. 59 and getting sunny. That's nice. Well, good morning. All right. So there is more technical information. I mean, it's very approachable, but it's technical information about the river work that we're going to be doing for the 12 primary meridians and the GB and the CV river. But I'll save that for when we're about to do it, so I don't have to explain it twice now, once now and once when we're about to do it. So, but it's very approachable stuff. I like it. So I'm excited. I'm excited in a very mellow way. Oh, I do have some personal news that I wanted to share, and I wanted to share it specifically at the start, before the start of a healing, rather than after the end of a healing, just in case it triggers somebody. I want them to, before the healing, then you can do the healing and get untriggered, and then you feel fine. Whereas if I say it at the end of a live stream and it triggers you, then, obviously you could meditate on your own, or you could just walk around stuck all day and be like, Janet's news triggered me. So I don't want that. So, anyway, the news that I have is that, our pets are seniors. They're all seniors. So with senior pets, I mean, pets can pass away at any age, as we learned with one of our cats, unfortunately. But you know, when they get really, really old, it's, you know, obviously a reality. And so one of our three beagles passed away recently, actually, during the last triplet set, during the April triplet set, like on that Monday before the third healing, for the final healing. We took her to the vet, you know, and helped her pass away in a very compassionate, gentle way for her. So she was fine. She was happily eating treats right before it happened. So then she just got drowsy and she crossed over. So it's as gentle as you could possibly get. And but it was just time. She had some. I mean, I was really trying my best to manage all her symptoms and keep her as comfortable as possible. But after a while, it was just apparent that, you know, there were more negatives for her than positives in her life because of, you know, her body was just ready to not exist. So we wanted to you know, be mindful about that and be compassionate with her. So that's why at the end of the last live stream, I only showed one of our dogs. I mean, one of them, we have two still, but one of them was, you know, being babysat by my husband in a different part of the house. But one of them, and then I showed Izzy, but, you know, yeah, so Daisy is the one that passed away. She was the one that was wearing a onesie. That was her crate, and she was wearing a onesie in a lot of the more recent videos because she had bladder control issues in addition to 10 other issues that she had. So anyway, she passed away. I wanted you guys to know so that I don't have to, like, you know, omit information when I'm only showing one or two of my dogs, and not the three that we used to have. But anyway, she was senior. She lived a very long life. All three of our dogs are laboratory experiment rescues. Like they, pharmaceutical companies and other companies, I guess, use dogs to do testing on, animal testing, and you know, that means that the first part of her life was not fun, you know, but it was all she knew. But it was, you know, not like a typical dog's life. And but then after 8 years, the lab released her to the rescue. So then we were able to adopt her. And that's true for all three of our beagles. They're all survivors of laboratory research and testing. So Izzy, he got out sooner. The whatever lab that he had him only kept their dogs for 2.5 years, whereas Abel, who we still have, and Daisy, who crossed over, that company used their dogs for 8 years. But anyway, so she did get a good 5 years after that. I mean, the last year was harder because of her physical issues, but, you know, she had lots and lots of love, of course, every single day. So that's nice. So anyway, I didn't want to trigger you too much about all that, but we're about to do a really good healing that will, you know, clear any grief that we may have dredged up with that news update. And releasing and flowing, that's the best thing for grief. Because when grief hurts, it's not releasing properly. When it's releasing properly, it's very moderate and doesn't get in the way. It's not especially painful. So the idea is to just keep releasing, you know, unplug your grounding, unplug the bottom of your auras. So it just moves out of you. The stagnant energy that is called grief is basically stuck energy in various chakras and aura layers and meridians and stuff. So this healing is particularly good with releasing stuck energy in your chakras as usual, but also in your meridians. That's a lot of what we'll be doing with that rivers technique. So it's a really good opportunity to give you that news update first and then have you suffer no adverse consequences from it. So there you go. I'm sure some people aren't listening, well, because they're working because it's a Tuesday, but other people aren't listening because they didn't think I started yet because it's so early. So there's that. But anyway, what else do I want to say? The June sessions did sell out just after, shortly after the second healing that I did 2 days ago. If you want to get my news update emails so that you know when those go on, I mean, they go on sale every time at the same time, usually on the 15th. But if you want to get the news email so you know exactly when they go up, you can email me and ask to be put on my news email list. My email is janet@janetwrightreadings.com. So similar to this YouTube channel, janet@janetwrightreadings.com. Okay. And the July sessions, which is very hard to even imagine. Seems very far away in July. Anyway, the July sessions will go up for sale May 15th on my website at or shortly after noon Pacific, 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern. And if you're elsewhere in the world, I definitely love working with people from other countries. And I can help you to understand, you know, time conversion and what time that is for you if you email me, if you want, if you need help with that. Okay, so now we will do 3 minutes of quiet. I got one more hello. Let me say hi, read that. Hey, Janet, we can see you in Chicago. 45 and sunny. So you're back down to the 40s. That was very interesting to hear the update 2 days ago that you guys were in the 80s last week. We didn't know that. Sometimes we keep track of Chicago weather just so we can be even more grateful for not living in Chicago anymore. But we hadn't been keeping track lately, so we meaning me and my husband. Oh, used to live in Chicago for, well, my husband lived in Chicago for his whole life until 6 years ago when we came here, and I lived in Chicago for more than half my life. So I do love my clients that live in the Chicago area, but I do not miss living in Chicago. I enjoyed it while I was there, but when I left, I was ready. There is a video, actually. This is the last thing before the quiet time. There is a video of our move, my husband and my move from Chicago to right near where we are now in Olympia, Washington. It's a half-hour move video on YouTube, and it documents like different moments on the road trip, because we road tripped to get out here because we well, it's what we could afford to do to get out here. And we had at the time 6 animals. We had 4 cats, I'm sorry, we had 7 animals, my God. We had 4 cats, 2 of whom are in spirit form only now. We had 4 cats and 3 dogs, all of whom who have crossed over already. But that's quite a video if you did want to see that. That's on a different YouTube channel that we have called Janet's Pineapple Time. I'll type that out in case you want to check out that move video. It's called Herbie Goes to Washington. So I wrote that it's my personal public YouTube channel, because this stuff I want to share, obviously, because I'm making YouTube videos about it. But it's, you know, it's not you know, necessarily about. I mean, there's probably some energy language in it here and there, but it's not about this kind of stuff. All right, cool. Yeah, that's enough. That's enough. So now I will do quiet time, just like 3 minutes, where I finish my prep and I say hello to all the people that I'll be healing, the 130 people that purchased this healing set 2 months ago. I'll say hi to them on a spirit level without talking out loud. Telepathically is what that's called. And then I'll start the healing. You'll see my hands go like that. That's how you know I started the healing. But I won't talk for that first minute. And then, after about 3 minutes-ish, I'll start talking. And that's the biggest part of the live stream will be me giving the healing, and I'm talking out loud as I do it, which makes it an all levels self-healing walkthrough. If you did want to heal yourself, listen to what I'm saying and do it on yourself. It is a nice healing walkthrough. Although, my main focus is I'm just healing these 130 people, but I will explain as I go. So you could heal yourself at the same time if you wish. That's fine. And everybody's welcome to watch, even if you've never worked with me before or whatever. That's fine. Okay, now I will have some silence. Hope you enjoy it as much as I do. All right, thank you for waiting. So, when you heal yourself, you can use a copy out in front of you, and you make the copy of yourself with your intention or with your thought So if you can't yet see energy, it still works. So you create with your intention or your thought a copy of your whole energy system out in front of you, and if it could be like just a part of your energy system, the copy, you could change it, but for starters, you could have a copy of everything, all your 17 auras. Your 17 auras are all around you. They wrap around in front, back, above, below you. So it's no great mystery where they are. They're just all around your physical body and you as a spirit. So you have your 17 auras, and then your physical body and your astral body are right in the middle of those auras. And then your groundings, your 2 groundings that connect you to the core of the earth and help you to release energy that is not yours, or yeah, pretty much just not yours, down to the core of the earth. And then it gets cleaned off there and goes back to wherever it belongs. So let's work grounding first. First, in all these healings, we do what I call your 4 essentials, which are grounding, aura repair of all 17 auras, creative ring repair, and chakra repair of all major and minor chakras. So grounding is the first of those 4 essentials. So let's do that now. So with grounding, make it big and wide, both of them. Physical body and astral body grounding, make them very big and wide because you want them to ground your entire physical body aura and your entire astral body aura. So you can make them red or orange or yellow, make them both the same color, and bring them up high as your 3rd chakra. Your 3rd chakra is where your sternum bone ends. So your sternum bone, that bone like in the middle of your rib cage, when that ends, that's your 3rd chakra. And so bring your grounding up that high so that you're supporting extra all your lower 3, 2, and 1 chakras. So a nice big red or orange or yellow, well, 2 big groundings. They're in the same space, so they look like 1, but they're 2 groundings. Bring them up that high and bring them all the way down to the core of the earth. Have them attached to the core of the earth and have them stay that wide all the way down. And then you can just make a copy of those 2 groundings out in front of you, and you use your hands to comb through them. Use your hands because they generate a lot of energy. And there's a big hand chakra in the palm of each hand, and then there are fingertip chakras, 1 in each fingertip. And so they generate a lot of energy. And so you set these chakras to be a metallic gold color, just the hand chakras. You don't set your major chakras to be gold. That's too fast moving. But for your hands, for healing energy, it is nice for repairing and unblocking. So you set these hand chakras to be a metallic gold color, like this glitter, if you need an inspiring example of what metallic gold looks like. And as the chakras are now that color, because you set them with your intention, that means the energy they're generating is also that color, which is nice. So just comb through both your groundings, the copy of both your groundings, with gold light from your hands. And you want to unblock both groundings, so just be aware of like if there's any muddy, rocky stuff, you want it to be like flowing water downward all around, like a big wide waterfall. And keep imagining the blocks and keep melting them. That's sort of the essence of these healings, is you repair what's broken and you unblock what's blocked. So then it's all like flowing and releasing properly. So that's grounding, unblocking. That's creating your groundings, both of them, and then unblocking them with gold light. So then we'll do indie grounding, which is related to grounding, where you keep your copy of your groundings from you, and you use gold light around the outer surface of both of them all the way down, and you melt away any parts that branch off to other people's groundings. You don't want that, because it's better if everybody's grounding is independent. And because if their grounding goes into yours, that means some of their blocks are going to go into your grounding and they might stay there, and vice versa. If your grounding goes into someone else's, it makes it really hard to be separate in a healthy way. So just melt away all that stuff. Even if you have kids, even if they're really young, it's better if everybody has their own grounding that goes straight down and doesn't hook into other people. Better for emotional stability, functioning, good sleep, etc. So again, melt off anything that's branching out of your grounding with gold light, melt it away. So that's indie grounding, indie for independent. So now we'll do aura repair of the 17 auras. So why 17? Well, I've been talking about your regular auras, your 2 regular auras, your astral body aura, generated by your 7 astral body chakras along your astral body spine. And then your physical body has its own aura, because your physical body also has 7 chakras along the physical body spine, and that generates your physical body aura. So those are the 2 auras, but then you have 15 more, which I call Wei Qi auras. Wei Qi is a traditional Chinese medicine concept. It means strong boundaries energy. It's very important energy for your wellness physically, as well as mentally, psychologically, spiritually. So Wei Qi is a standard Chinese medicine concept, but that you have 15 Wei Qi auras, that's just something that angels taught me. So just so you can like contextualize where things come from. So anyway, we're going to repair all 17 auras all at once. The 2 regular auras and your Wei Qi auras, your 15 Wei Qi auras. And I guess I'll mention now about the Wei Qi auras. I was going to mention in the intro, but I did something else instead. So of the 15 Wei Qi auras, 12 of those relate, one each relates to those 12 primary meridians of your physical body in traditional Chinese medicine. So like one meridian, say your lung meridian, it has its own Wei Qi aura to protect it and nurture it. And so all these Wei Qi auras, they're big all around you, but they protect, 12 of them are assigned to specific primary meridians. And then you have one Wei Qi aura for your GV meridian and one Wei Qi aura for your CV meridian. And those two help, manage, like GV manages the yang meridians, CV manages the yin meridians. And then your 15th Wei Qi aura just helps all the meridians. And how these Wei Qi auras help is that they have gold mesh spheres within them that you can repair and heal. So they look gold and they're really cool, and they generate energy. They're kind of like chakras, but they're not shaped like a chakra. They're just like a gold mesh sphere that's all around you, and there are 3 of them for each Wei Qi aura. And I explained that a lot earlier this month, in a much slower way. So if you need that, you can watch an earlier video, or post a question under the video if you don't understand. But so anyway, as we heal all these 17 auras, including the 15 Wei Qi auras, I will add into it that we're healing all the mesh spheres of the Wei Qi auras towards the end. I'll just tack that on, and that may be a permanent way that we do it. that we'll just, as part of the extended version of aura repair, we'll add on, you know, working those mesh spheres of the Wei Qi auras. They help you be even safer. They help make your Wei Qi auras even stronger. And again, your Wei Qi auras are for strong boundaries, which, you know, very good. All right, so now, long story short, that was a 4-minute intro explaining auras and Wei Qi auras and how Wei Qi auras relate to meridians and explaining gold spheres. So now we will do aura repair and unblocking of all your 17 auras. So, okay. So comb through all your 17 auras. You have a copy out in front of you of all 17. They're all in the same place, so it's not that hard. And just practice at first, getting a sense of where the rips are. It's sort of like intuitive practice, and that it's good to do, even if you think, oh, Janet, I don't have intuition. You have that, I don't. Just, you know, start practicing. Like, if your tummy feels weird, you may have some rips in the auras in front of your tummy. If your shoulders feel weird, the back of your head feels weird, you may have some rips back there in your auras, because your auras are supposed to protect your body. And so when they get ripped, then your body gets, like, more dysfunctional. All right, so that was a little intuitive practice, just checking how bad everything is, how ripped up things are. And so now we'll use a technique that anyone can do, whether or not you think you are good at intuition or whatever. Composite copy technique. So you make a rip and you have it be the composite copy. You have it be, with your intention, you say, okay, well, this rip represents all the rips that I need to repair in all of my 17 auras that are healthy and gentle to repair in all my 17 auras. Because if this is the first time you've ever done it, maybe it'll take you a couple times to do them all, you know, at a healthy pace. But whatever. So you just always have that intention. I want to do what's healthy and gentle to do today. Although, you know, if you have healed yourself like in this way plenty of times before, you can just heal all the rips. But whatever. Healthy and gentle is fine. Have that intention. It doesn't hurt. So this is your composite copy rip. You make it out in front of you, and then you clean it out with sticky gold wax, which is gold light from your hands that hardens and sticks to what's not you. And you lift all that out as a big lump, give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. Again, fill up your rip with sticky gold wax, have it stick to all that's not you, and lift all that out as a big lump. Angels, here you go. So now that composite copy rip should be pretty cleaned out. So that means that the gold light will make good contact with the rip and it'll start to heal up. The more gold light you put there, just bathe the rip in gold light and it repairs. All right, and so that's the basics of aura repair. It's just you imagine one rip that represents all the rips, and then you repair the rips. Clean it out, repair it, clean it out, repair it. So you may have some leftover rips that didn't get repaired. So I'm gonna fix my camera. There we go. You may have some leftover rips, so make one more composite copy that represents any leftover rips that are still healthy and gentle to repair. And then clean that out, fill it up with sticky gold wax, lift out the junk, give it to your angels, fill up this leftover rip, representing all the leftover rips, with sticky gold wax, lift out the junk all at once. Angels, here you go. And use more gold light and just let this rip repair. All right, good. So that means you repaired your rips. So now there's just some extra things that we like to do. But if you only have a minute, that's the basics of aura repair, is repairing the rips. But now we'll do the extras, which is like you could have leftover hardness, which hardness is weakness in an energy context. you want flow instead of hardness. That's stronger. But anyway, so you may have some leftover hardness at the edges of your auras, and that's called, I call that aura scarring. Or you may have like layers of hardness in a certain location in those two regular auras, and that's called aura bruising. But either way, the idea is the same. It's hard, it's crusty, it's leftover, and we want to melt it away so that you have flow, which is stronger. So just put copies of all your aura scarring and aura bruising into piles out in front of you and melt it with gold light. And keep breathing, take your time. And you can put more piles out of any remaining aura bruising or aura scarring that you have and melt it away. Okay, good job. So now I would like to we will start repairing of all the so we repaired the rips, and then we melted aura scarring and bruising. And now I want to do the spheres. We're still doing like extras for aura repair. So I said that, 15 of those 17 auras that we just repaired, those are called, I call those Wei Qi auras, and they're your strong boundaries energy. And so we repaired the big rips in them, but they each of those Wei Qi auras, they're like big gold flowy force fields. And the gold light gets generated by these mesh spheres within each of these Wei Qi auras. So each Wei Qi aura has 3 gold mesh spheres that go all the way around you. But they can get damaged. They can get like no longer gold. They can look like sort of muddy with like black tar on them or something. Or they can actually also be ripped in certain locations. So we don't want any of that. We want them to be whole. We want it to be gold so they can do their job and generate lots of gold light to help whichever meridian they're supposed to help. So just imagine all your gold mesh spheres all at once within these Wei Qi auras. So there'll be 15 that are the outermost spheres, 15 that are the middle spheres, and 15 that are the innermost spheres. And you can just repair them all at once with gold light. And again, your intention is healthy and gentle. You want to do it at a pace and in a way that's healthy and gentle. But basically, there could be rips in these mesh spheres. There could just be, like a heavy black bunch of junk on them. So just wash them off and repair them so that they're whole and they are gold. And the if you're doing it like, and you're not really paying attention, you may leave the innermost sphere. You may not repair that. So make sure you do the outermost, the middle, and the innermost one. It might be hard to notice if if they're so ripped up and they're not gold. So, but just use lots of gold light and it'll grow back. They'll grow back. And you wash them off with gold so that whatever's caked on them washes off and goes away. So that is repairing and washing off the gold mesh spheres within the Wei Qi auras. And we're doing that as part of the aura repair process, or the extended version of aura repair. And now we will just get rid of hard objects, because you may still have some hard objects. Hopefully most of them just melted away or dropped out of your energy field as we were working. But you could have some hard objects still, like maybe lodged in some of those gold mesh spheres, or just stuck in one of your auras somewhere. You know, people, unfortunately, it's really bad karma. I would never suggest that anyone do it. It's certainly not in your best interest for any reason to throw hard objects at other people of energy. But people do it subconsciously. A lot of people do. So you want to get rid of all those hard energy objects that got thrown at you. And they could be very old, like, you know, 2 decades ago you got it and it's still stuck there. So just you can surround all those hard objects in gold energy and just get ready to lift them all out at once. Just kind of move them all out at once. Move out the hard objects. Give to your angels. Angels, here you go. Again, surround any hard objects that are lodged in your auras or your body anywhere, your physical body, your astral body, your groundings. Just surround all that, the hard objects, with gold light and move them out. And give to your angels. Angels, here you go. And just breathe a couple times deeply into everything. You may have extra hard objects around the base of your skull and your neck and your shoulders. It seems to be so you could do. You could also do sticky gold wax if just surrounding it in gold light isn't working well enough. It's a similar idea, but the wax, gold wax, hardens on all that junk, and then you lift it out maybe a little more easily. So just especially removing hard objects from your back of your skull and your neck and your shoulders. And just move all that out at once. Angels, here you go. Again, remove hard objects from the back of your skull, your neck, your shoulders, your neck in front also. Move all the hard objects out. Angels, here you go. All right, and then we can just finish up repair everywhere, including finish up repairing those gold mesh spheres in your Wei Qi auras. You know, you have 3 sets of them, outer, middle, inner. And so finish up repair on the gold mesh spheres, because maybe the hard objects were leaving a little hole there. So just finish repair of your gold mesh spheres. And finish repair of all the 17 auras, especially around the outer surface. You don't want any leaks. And just gold light everywhere, even inside all your body systems and energy channels and muscles, nervous system. Okay, and then redo your gold buffer zones. There is a reference video that I always link below on that, gold buffer zones. It's an 18-minute video. It teaches you how to make gold buffer zones. Which slow the rate of aura damage if you use them properly, if you recreate them enough. right, so that was Aura Repair, the extended version, which includes Wei Qi, Aura, working on the gold mesh spheres within the Wei Qi auras, which just makes you have even stronger boundaries and helps your physical body as well as mentally, emotionally, psychologically, all that good stuff. All right, so now we will do creative ring, repair and unblocking. If I remember, we'll do the enhanced version of that. I tend to forget that lately. I'll give myself a checkbox for that. I like checkboxes, so maybe that'll help me remember to do the enhanced version. We'll see. We'll see. So your creative rings are above your head. They're gold. 3 gold creative rings, 1, 2, 3. And they come and go with your astral body, with you as a spirit. They're part of your astral body energy system. When they're working properly and repaired and unblocked enough, they generate lots of gold light, which then goes down and helps support and nourish all your major chakras along your spine. So super cool. And if they're properly unblocked, it helps you wake up more easily because you have to come in this way. When you wake up, your spirit comes into your body through the upper chakras, through your creative rings, through all your chakras, hopefully. So it helps you wake up more easily and smoothly if your creative rings are nice. And it just helps you have more mental clarity, more focus, more confidence, just because they're so close to your 7th chakra that they can really help stabilize your 7th chakra if your creative rings are in good shape. So let's make them in good shape. So just make a copy out in front of you of your creative rings. You can make a big copy, a small copy, whatever works for your brain. But the idea is use gold light from your hands to repair and unblock your creative rings. First, repair. Damage can look like broken parts or just cracks, little cracks. So use so much gold light that stuff repairs. Damage can also look like scratches. You can turn the copy upside down too to check for scratches on the underside. Melt away all the junk on the underside of the creative rings. And then you can turn the copy right side up again. Now your creative rings, like your chakras, have flaps, and you want those flaps to be relaxed and shut, so that in the case of the creative rings, your energy can flow through the creative rings, but it's harder for people to cord your creative rings, which is very good because it's a really private place. You don't want people cording there for any reason. So this is what the flaps look like if they were open and irritated. So it's like a top-down view of this top creative ring with the flaps open. So if you melt the cords going into the creative rings and you unblock, melt away the energy blocks, then the flaps shut and it just looks like a gold ring. You don't see flaps sticking out. So that's what you would like ideally. So just keep melting cords with gold light. And you can imagine like 2 sections of, because what can mess with your creative rings? Well, in general, invasive beings or invasive people, or both, right? So you could imagine the copy of your creative rings and then imagine the invasive beings and the invasive people, like, sorry, I messed up my hair. This is a problem when I look at myself as I'm doing my work, I get distracted. Sorry. But anyway, you can imagine whatever's messing with your creative rings, which would be invasive people or invasive beings, as balloons, and just sort them out. So you have your invasive people balloons on one side and your invasive being balloons on the other side. And so invasive being balloons, just say, angels, can you recycle all these invasive beings? And invasive people balloons, you can see, you know, their cords going, like each person would have a pair of cords going into your creative rings. And so you just melt away the cords. You don't do anything to the people, but you just melt the little strings of the balloon. as they're connecting to your creative rings, just melt those strings away. And you can say, bye, go talk to your angels, go find your body, go take a deep breath, it'll help you have a good day. And just keep melting away the cords from the invasive people that are messing with your creative rings. And again, double check for invasive beings, any balloons representing invasive beings that are cording your creative rings. Say, angels, can you recycle these beings? And again, just heal these creative rings so that you can also bring up purple earth energy if you want, like a nice purple grounding for your creative rings, purple earth energy grounding for your creative rings. Purple is too fast moving for a lot of your chakras, except your 7th chakra. It's nice for your 7th chakra too. So you can bring up a purple grounding for your 7th chakra, all the way from the core of the earth, and then a purple grounding for your creative rings, all the way from the core of the earth. If you're healing someone else, it's too invasive to create something lasting in someone else's space. So like when I'm healing these people, I'm not creating a purple grounding. I'm just suggesting to them and their angels that, you know, they make their own purple grounding for their 7th chakra and their own purple grounding for their creative rings. Because you don't want something that you made to be in somebody else's space. That's too much. Even if your intention is good, blah, blah, blah. It's just, it's not appropriate. So anyway, purple grounding if you want for your creative rings, purple grounding if you want for your 7th chakra. Just to help that release of excess energy. All right, now the enhanced version of creative ring work is just that you're more aware of the inner part. So like if this were the diagram, you know, the inner part is like right around the inside of the ring, right? So if you have junk there, like hard, caked on, stuck energy, then that prevents the gold ring from sending the gold light into the center part. And you want a lot of gold light there too, ideally. You don't want it to just go downward to the chakras. You want it to, you know, flood the inside of the rings, because that makes it extra protective. So if someone's trying to hack down at your 7th chakra, it's like a gold little pillow that it's harder for them to hack through. Gold flowy pillow. So the enhanced version is you think of your creative rings and you think of that inner surface of the creative rings, and you use gold light, gold fire, gold water, gold soap, whatever you like, and just melt away any hardness, any stuck energy on that inner surface of your creative rings. All right, so that's the enhanced version of creative ring repair and unblocking. All right, we did it. Okay. So now, next with the 4 essentials is chakra repair and unblocking of all your major and minor chakras. So I've said already many times in this healing, your major chakras are the 7 physical body chakras and 7 astral body chakras. They're along your spine. The minor chakras are all your cool and amazing acupuncture points in your body, but also like you have some bigger chakras, like your Kundalini chakra below the 1st chakra that generates a peppy energy, which can be nice. But if it's too much energy, you maybe, if you're an adult, you would feel like excessively horny in a distracting kind of way. If you're generating too much Kundalini energy. Also, this chakra is supposed to turn off when you sleep. So if it doesn't turn off when you sleep, then when you wake up, you know, if you want to go back to sleep, If your Kundalini is on, it's generating this energy, sending it up your spine. It's going to keep you awake. So the Kundalini chakra, that's one of your minor chakras. Also, and I have videos on Kundalini if you want. If you can't find my playlist on Kundalini videos, you can post a comment under any video and I'll post a link. You also have minor chakras like big ones, keeping the flow down your arms or keeping the flow up your legs. Anyway, so those are all minor chakras, lots and lots of them. So we're going to repair and unblock all chakras all at the same time. So that's major chakras and minor chakras. So this is a simple version of chakra shape. Obviously, some of them are, well, none of them are this big. Some of them are almost this big. Like the major chakras, maybe are half the size, maybe. But the seventh chakra is in your head, like in there, so it's much smaller, but very important. And the chakras, like in your fingertips, they're this size, this shape, pretty much, but they're teeny, you know. But anyway, so that's the basic shape, is an open cylinder. So you just create a copy out in front of you, a composite copy of a chakra, and you have it with your intention. You say, okay, with your intention, you say, this represents all my major and minor chakras of my body and spirit. So then, you know, as you repair and unblock with gold light, you're repairing and unblocking all your major and minor chakras. And damage can look like cracks or pieces missing or scratches or gashes in places that shouldn't have holes. So just use lots of gold light and let all that repair. All right, and so that's repair, and also melt away cords going into the chakras. Generally, they'd be going in to these flaps around the outer surface, so you'd have a pair of cords from somebody invasive going in, and so you want to relax the flaps so that they fall shut. And so then your energy still goes in and out of the chakra, but it's harder for people to cord and either draw energy out or send their energy in. So you just melt away cords from other people using gold light from your hands. So those flaps close. So the round opening is nice and smooth. You don't feel the flaps sticking out. And you can just melt away energy blocks. Energy blocks can be stacked up around the round openings, or they can be wrapped around the cylinder part, or they can be stuffed inside the chakra. So you just imagine different blocks and melt them away. And again, your intention is you want to do what's healthy and gentle to do right now. Okay, and you can, one thing that we've been working a little bit is clearing resistance and clearing avoidance, which is always important to do, especially when you're doing meridian work, because meridian work is very effective, like traditional Chinese medicine meridian work. And so you don't want to be in denial or in resistance or avoiding things, because then you're kind of like one part of you is clearing and one part of you is freaking out about it. So we don't want that. So just you have this composite copy representing all your major and minor chakras, and just lift out any energy blocks that cause resistance, denial, or avoidance. Lift out those, and to the extent that's healthy and gentle. So lift out your blocks causing denial, resistance, denial, or avoidance. And if you're healing yourself, you can blow them up or hand them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Lift out the blocks causing resistance, denial, or avoidance. Give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Any blocks that are good to get rid of right now, causing resistance, denial, or avoidance. Angels, here you go. One more time. Any blocks in your chakras causing resistance, denial, or avoidance, lift those blocks out. Angels, here you go. Also, you can have, of course, invasive people, but also invasive beings that can be a little stubborn in these chakras. So you can just say, angels, can you please recycle any invasive beings that are interfering with my chakras in any way? And sometimes there are being tunnels, little passageways, and so you have your angels get rid of those too. So angels, can you recycle any being tunnels that are anywhere in my space, including around my chakras? All right, so that is most likely the healthy and gentle amount. We've done a bunch. And so, but if you feel like you can do more, or you can do more later today, or you can do more, of course, tomorrow, feel free to go for it. So that's, we did chakra repair, chakra unblocking, and we especially unblocked for getting rid of blocks causing resistance, denial, or avoidance. I think maybe I'm going to call that RAD for short. Resistance, avoidance, and denial. So RAD blocks, resistance, avoidance, and denial. So, so we unblocked, especially RAD blocks. Blocks causing resistance, avoidance, or denial. And we had angels recycle beings, of course. Okay, cool. Yay! So that was chakra repair and unblocking for all your major and minor chakras. Good job, guys. So that means we have finished the 4 essentials, which we always do because they're really helpful and important to get you as present and safe as possible. So now we can do theme stuff. Although, you know, our theme is more healing for traditional Chinese medicine meridians, and we've already done a little bit of that because we've done the Wei Qi aura repair and the gold sphere repair, and that helps the Wei Qi, the traditional Chinese medicine meridians. We've also repaired all chakras, which includes all the little motors inside the meridians, which are minor chakras. So we've already done some theme work, but now we'll do more. So I'm going to call this meridian rivers technique. Meridian river technique? Yeah, I think river singular. I mean, technically we're going to work 3 rivers, but yeah, I'll just say meridian river technique, because river as in singular with no S at the end. Just, I mean, it doesn't matter what you put in your notes or whatever you want to call it, but that's what I'll call it. So, meaning that, so I should note the time on this. Later, I will make a detailed healing summary, and it will be in the comment section within a day. Okay, so the meridian river technique is where you don't have to learn, you know, for example, that the lung meridian starts here and it goes here and then it goes down your arm and ends in your finger. You don't have, it ends in your thumb actually, which is kind of cool. So it goes from there to your thumb. That's your lung meridian. And so it's really cool to work individual meridians. Very, very cool. There's a 12 meridian playlist, video playlist that I link all the time. It's fun stuff. But we already did that in healings this month. So with meridian river technique, you don't have to know that your lung meridian starts here and ends in your thumb. You don't have to know that, you know, then it turns into your large intestine meridian that starts in your index finger and ends right by your nose. You don't have to know that. It's just that those are 12 primary meridians in traditional Chinese medicine, starting with the lung meridian. And so you imagine a river, and you can imagine it straighter with bends, natural bends in it, doesn't matter. But so you imagine it like 12 rivers, but one feeds into the next, feeds into the next, feeds into the next. So it's basically one river, meridian river, right? And then there's a different river, GV, and a different river, CV. And CV and GV, they're two of the extraordinary meridians. And extraordinary meridians, well, yeah, I don't want to get into like what they do versus the primary ones, but the primary ones are really important. And then GV and CV, they help manage the primary meridians. So we'll be working those two. So essentially we'll have one big river that's like a 12 river, 12 meridian river, 12 rivers that one feeds into the other, feeds into the other. And then we'll have the GV river and we'll have the CV river, and we'll unblock all of those. And the idea with meridian river, why we need to do it this way, is sometimes you can have, a lot of times, you can have blocks that it's like you can have a being too, an invasive being or a person that just they're in like half of your meridian, but they're not in the whole one. They're in like half your meridian, or it's just like old sludge, you know, from a parent or a sibling or an old friend that you had that was invasive. And you might have sludge in like, you know, 2/3 of that meridian, but not the whole meridian. So it's not just in one acupuncture point. And so it's nice when you heal the meridians and you heal the little chakras within them, they make more energy, so you get more of your life force flowing, but you could still have that sludge, the like stagnant blocked energy in the meridian can still stay there. It's kind of like a river that flows, but then there's still a bunch of mud at the bottom, and that mud can be pretty stubborn, and it doesn't necessarily just go away when you get better flow and even more volume of life force going through these meridians. You can still get that real stubborn sediment, you know, the condensed blocked energy in the meridians can still stay there. And then you kind of feel it a little more. You feel like, that does feel sore or tight or weird. I didn't even notice it before. So you have more volume in your river of your energy, which is good. And that can, you know, alleviate some of your symptoms. And it's flowing more rapidly. It's not so, you know, sluggish anymore. So that's all good. But like I said, the muddiness, the muddy stuck energy at the bottom, it could be like the bottom, I mean, it depends. If you have a ton of stagnant energy, it could be 70% of the river is like this hard stuck stuff. And then there's the 30% that just kind of flows over it. If you've worked your energy more of your meridians, maybe you have only like 30% of like stuck mud at the bottom. And the stuck mud, a lot of times it's going to be black in color. because black is the slowest moving color of, you know, black, brown, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, gold, white. So a lot of times that stuck energy is black. Sometimes it could be white, depending on, you know, how fast it's moving. So, but the point is, it's not your energy and it's stuck there. So, like I said, the work that we've done up till now isn't the greatest at getting rid of all of that stuck energy. It gets rid of some of it. It helps you with symptoms because now you have more volume flowing in there, and it's flowing more at like a healthy speed, the river flow. But you know, we want to get that stuck energy out, that mud at the bottom of the river, to the extent that's healthy and gentle to do at one time. So how do we do that? Well, you could imagine the river, and to the extent that's healthy and gentle, run gold light through the stuck mud. But if you do it that way and just run gold light through the stuck mud, it tends to vaporize and move upward and just kind of go to the universe and, you know, get cleaned off and go where it belongs that way. So it sort of grounds upward, not down to the core of the earth, which is not really bad. I mean, you can release energy upward, that happens. But if you use gold light and you use red earth energy, and so you bring up the red earth energy from the core of the earth, so you're essentially like grounding the meridian itself, and just, you know, bring it red earth energy the whole route of the river, of the rivers, you know, your 12 river. If you bring up the red earth energy and you use gold light, so you're using both, then the release goes down to the core of the earth of this blocked energy that's not yours. When it releases from the meridians, it goes down to the core of the earth, and you tend to release about 4 times as much, or up to 4 times as much at once, and it is still gentle. So I don't know why. I guess it's just really, you know, your body just releases better when it's connected to the core of the earth. So we're gonna, you know, you do the river technique, so you don't have to know, you know, that this meridian ends in this finger and this meridian ends in this toe and blah, 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 blah. You don't have to know that. But we're gonna not just run energy through the flowy water part of the river. We're gonna specifically, you know, flow gold light and red earth energy through the stuck part. We're gonna really focus on the stuck part. And the idea is, you know, whatever's healthy and gentle to clear at this time from that stuck part. That's what we're going to do. And since we're using red earth energy and gold light, it'll flow downward, and more of it will release at once, and it'll be nice and gradual, and it'll be good. And then we're going to do other things too to the flowy river. But let's do that first, since I just explained it. But that took forever. Took 9 minutes. So now we're going to do, you know, sort of part 1 of the meridian river technique, where we use red earth energy and gold light, and we focus on the muddy stuck part of the river, so that it releases downward to the core of the earth at a healthy and gentle rate. So you can imagine these rivers however you want, you know, like, you know, nice gentle windy rivers or a straight river, whatever. I mean, in your body they make a lot of little bends and winds. But, you know, however you want to manage it, imagine it, because it's metaphorical already. So imagine like your primary meridian river, which is really 12 meridians in order. So technically it's, you know, you can copy down the order if you care, you know, lung is first, and then large intestine, and then stomach, and then blah, 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 you know, all 12. There's a playlist, you know, the 12 meridians that I list in order, so you'll know the order if you care. But anyway, you don't have to know that. So there's one big river made up of the 12 meridian rivers, one flowing each into the other. And so we're specifically not just imagining one thing that represents all the rivers, it's 12. Because that way, if you have a problem in one of the rivers, you can figure out which meridian that is. And that's kind of cool information. And you want to be able to see separately each one, because otherwise, if one is flowing really well, it'll obscure that the other one is not flowing really well. So you want 12 different rivers, one flowing into the other, to be shown in your big meridian river so that you can tell when there's slowdowns and when there's a lot of extra blocked energy and when there's not. You want to be able to see all that separate. So it's not one composite representing all meridians. It's just a simplified depiction of all 12 of your primary meridians. And be aware of the flow, the flowing part, you know, your life force flowing through, and be aware of any stuck energy that's not you. And just be aware of that. And you can imagine it like mud in the bottom of a river if you want. And so you can start running gold light through that, the stuck muddy part. But then also bring up red earth energy straight from the core of the earth all the way up into these 12 meridian rivers. And then keep doing the gold light as well. So bring up more red earth energy straight direct from the core of the earth into each of these rivers so that each one of these 12 rivers is grounded to the core of the earth. Because you may have one that's not really grounded, and so you can just do extra gold light and extra red earth energy on that one so that it releases properly down to the core of the earth. So again, if you find one that's not releasing, just extra gold light on that one, extra red earth energy up from the core of the earth into that one. And there is a direction of flow. I did it in reverse, but I wasn't like trying to mess with the flow. So it's probably better to just stay with the direction of flow. That's natural. All right, so that was part one of the Meridian River technique, where you used red earth energy and gold light on the stuck muddy part of each of these rivers that make up the one river. So then we're still going to work with the river. Well, yeah, let's do GV and CV. Same thing, just part one. So a river for, you can still keep looking at that river for all 12 of the meridian rivers, but then a GV river and a CV river, doesn't matter where you put those. You can put one above, one below, both below, whatever visualization is fun for you. But just with GV and CV, yeah, I guess you could make GV and CV kind of loop towards each other because they do kind of do that. You know, they both go up, but then they flow into, that's too complicated. Just make GV and CV like two rivers and just imagine the stuck energy, the stuck muddy part at the bottom of GV and the stuck muddy part at the bottom of CV, and just use gold light and bring up red earth energy. Gold light and red earth energy up from the core of the earth into these two meridians, so the stuck energy gets bathed by red earth energy and gold light. So then the releasing goes straight down to the core of the earth because you use the red earth energy, and that kind of reminds the meridian and orients it towards the earth. All right, cool. So that was doing the GV river and the CV river with that whole rivers technique part one, where you use red earth energy and gold light, specifically on the stuck part of the river, the sludgy stuff at the bottom of the river. All right, cool. So just take a couple deep breaths, see how that feels for you. Maybe do a stretch or something. Just notice how present are you. You could redo your groundings. You could just comb through your whole space, see what that's like. See if you notice any changes. Okay, and so now we'll do meridian river technique, but there are some extra aspects of it. So we could call it part two if we want. Invasive beings or invasive people. Those both can be affecting your meridians, your traditional Chinese medicine meridians, just like they can affect your chakras too and your parts of your aura, parts of your auras. So invasive beings is part two. Invasive beings and invasive people. So it doesn't matter if you can't see energy yet, but use your imagination and or your intention if you can't see energy yet. Just kind of wing it, just go for it. So you have your rivers, right? And technically you're watching like three rivers. You have your GB, your CV, and this big long one that is 12 rivers, one after the other, right? That represents all your 12 primary meridians of your in traditional Chinese medicine, right? So you have that 12 river, and then you have the GB river and the CV river, right? So we already, in part one, we ran gold light and red earth energy through the stuck energy in each of these rivers. So that should be ongoing, releasing on an ongoing basis. The stuck energy should be releasing downward to the core of the earth. But you can have invasive beings or invasive people affecting these meridians, therefore these rivers, right? And so if, to generalize, people and beings can have a too fast moving effect, or they can have a too slow moving effect, typically. I mean, sometimes you have someone in your space who's like a very similar vibration to yours, but that's unusual. Usually it's like when they're in your space, they're in an imbalanced state, which is why they're invasive. And so their energy is either really revved or it's really slow moving. Same with beings. So if you imagine these rivers, the fast moving, like really worked up kind of invasive beings or invasive people, they can look like, you can imagine them sort of like lightning storms on the river. So there'll be a little lightning storm over there to represent a couple people or a couple invasive beings. There'll be a lightning storm right here on the river. There'll be a lightning storm over there on the river. So you just kind of imagine, and this is the sort of the high vibration, high not as good, but just fast moving vibration, invasive beings or people. And just imagine them like lightning storms on these little localized lightning storms on the rivers. I mean, you could have a lightning storm that's on the whole river if that invasive being or invasive person is in the whole, several meridians at once, or, whatever. But anyway, so imagine the invasive people and beings as the ones that are fast moving as lightning storms. And then you just say, angels, can you recycle all these invasive beings? And just keep breathing as your angels do that work. And so the remaining lightning storms could be invasive people, and obviously your angels aren't going to recycle them. But you can wash them out with gold light and maybe some red earth energy, and just wash out those invasive people. And you can say too, angels, can you help me get these invasive people out of my space? And don't harm them in any way. Red earth energy, gold light, that's not going to harm them. but just pop them out so they can go back to their own space and have more energy for their day. So then check again these rivers to see if you have any lightning storms that represent fast-moving, invasive energy from people or beings. And if you have more lightning storms, that's fine. It doesn't mean you messed up. It just means, you know, sometimes it's healthy and gentle to do some, and then you can do some more right after that. So just imagine any remaining lightning storms that are invasive beings, and just say, angels, can you recycle all these invasive beings? And then remaining lightning storms can be invasive people, and you know they can't be recycled. So you just wash them out with lots of gold light and red earth energy. Wash out the lightning storms. You can say, hey, go talk to your angels. Go find your own body. Go take a deep breath. Go ask your angels for help. Because you need all these rivers just for you. All right, so that was part 2. We could say, yeah, that's fine. Call that part 2. So that's the lightning storms, getting rid of the lightning storms. So part 3 is similar in concept, but it's the heavier stuff. So like I said, people can be in your space, or beings can be in your space that have a very slow moving energy. So it's very sort of oppressive, and you know, rather than being so overwhelming, it's more like it just gets you really stuck. It's like very heavy, and it can look like a heavy shadow or a heavy black fog, you know, but it's really heavy, like a heavy blanket or a heavy shadow or a heavy fog or something. And so look at your rivers, the big one that has 12 rivers within it, and then the GV one and the CV one. Look at those rivers and look for any heavy shadows or heavy fog. And it could be localized in just one spot, or it could be the whole meridian, you know, or most of the meridian. And either way, that's fine. So some of those heavy shadows are going to be invasive beings that are just really slow moving. And so go ahead and ask your angels to recycle them. Angels, can you recycle all these beings? Just see how that feels to get those beings, those heavy, slow moving ones, sucked out of you and recycled by your angels. Okay, and then you're thinking of these 3 rivers, right? The big 12 meridian river, and then the GV river and the CV river. And you could have heavy, slow-moving, invasive people. That their energy in your space is heavy and slow-moving. And so it can look like, you know, same thing, heavy, dark shadow, or heavy, you know, dark blanket, or a heavy dark fog. And so imagine the ones that are people that are in your space and they look like in these rivers like heavy dark fog or shadows or blankets, and just lift them out. Gold light, give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Lift out these people's energy. Angels, here you go. Just gather it all in your hand. Angels, here you go. You can also just wash it out with gold light, red earth energy. Say, angels, help me remove all these people from my meridians and keep them out. Angels, help me to have better, stronger boundaries with these people. And then double check again for any heavy, dark sort of fog or heavy dark blankets or heavy dark shadows that represent invasive beings in these meridians. And I just say, angels, can you recycle all this? Angels, can you recycle all these beings? affecting my meridians. And then one more time real quickly, check out these rivers, these 3 rivers, to see if you have any more heavy, dark shadows that represent people in your meridians, and just wash them out. And say, angels, can you help me have stronger boundaries long term with these people? And just wash all that heavy darkness out. Or you can gather it up and hand it to your angels. Angels, here you go. Gather it all up. Angels, here you go. And you want your intention to be that you're creating the change that's healthy and gentle to do right now. The amount of change that's healthy and gentle. Okay, so that was part 3. Getting rid of invasive beings or people that are heavier, slower moving than your energy. And it doesn't mean that in their daily life they're super heavy necessarily. It's just the energy that they put in your space is really heavy. Okay, so good job. You can comb through your space, see how that feels, having gotten rid of the lightning storm, invasive beings and people, and also the heavy dark shadow, invasive beings and people. How does that feel? How does your energy feel? How's your grounding? You can redo your grounding, red or orange or yellow, both groundings. All right. And part 4 is very simple. So part 4 of this meridian river technique, where we're looking at, you know, the big river that has 12 rivers within it, one for each of the primary meridians. One river flows into the next, flows into the next, flows into the next, etc. And then the GV river and the CV river, right? Those are the 3 rivers we're working. So part 4 is simple. You just look for leaks. And leaks, it can be just one leak, you know, like just the energy will be spouting out, or it can be a whole bunch of leaks in a certain place. So it'll look like a lawn sprinkler, you know, with a whole bunch of energy going out of it. So the idea is that each of these rivers has an outer surface. It's kind of like a tube with a river flowing within it, really, a flowy tube. Hopefully not a stuck rigid tube, but a flowy tube, right? Flowy red tube, really. So just check out the tube for each of these rivers to see, is there leaking? Is, you know, water spouting out all over the place? Water meaning really your life force. So we don't want any leaks. So just check the big river for leaks and just repair that outer surface of that river, which technically you're repairing all your 12 major meridians as you do that. And then the GV river, just use gold light and heal that outer surface, heal and repair that outer surface so there are no leaks. And that would help with headaches if you just do that GV river and repair the outer surface so there are no leaks. And then CV river, same thing. CV is a meridian that starts in the crotch and goes up the front, ends in the tip of the tongue. Helps all your yin meridians. So just heal the outer surface of your CV river. And again, a river is a metaphorical representation of that river. It's a visual representation. All right, so that was part 4 of the meridian river technique, where you just heal up the leaks, repair the leaks in any of those rivers. So I was going to do all points and worst points again, but the angels say not to, just because, not that it's not good to do, but just that it's nice for like learning and people's experience to just experience certain techniques without the others. Because if you always do like 200 techniques in each healing, then it's hard for people to feel which techniques had a bigger result for them. So this way, we focused exclusively on the Meridian River technique and the different parts of it, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. So you'll be able to feel the difference of what that's like for you. And also it's pretty approachable. We didn't really deal with much technical information with that technique. We did do the all spheres, repairing all the Wei Qi aura spheres, but we put it with aura repair. We added that to our aura repair process, which hopefully is a permanent addition. So that was part of aura repair, repairing all the gold mesh spheres of your Wei Qi auras. And the blocks causing the rad blocks, blocks causing resistance, avoidance, and denial. We did that as part of chakra repair and unblocking. And I think that's a good way to do it going forward as well. So that's very cool. I'm just making sure my notes are clear so that the detailed healing summary I write will be clear for everybody, which will be in the comment section later. So I'm just going to check everybody's space. You can redo your grounding, red or orange or yellow, all the way down to the core of the earth. Check it for blocks, clogs, and melt those away with gold light. Check your creative ring flaps, melt the cords so the flaps close and relax. Check all your major chakras along your spine, unblock them, especially in the back. Yeah, let's wrap up now. So you can just say, angels, can you please give me a healing? Help me wrap up. Couple deep breaths as your angels give you a healing. All right, good job. That's a healing. Woo, 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 woo. Good job. Yay. All right, cool. So that healing was 1 hour and 15 minutes, as opposed to the healing 2 days ago was 2 hours long, just the healing. So I will definitely be looking forward to reading post-healing surveys. If you could fill those out in the next week or so. Maybe just fill them out tomorrow, and if you're going to forget by putting them off for a couple days. But those people that are healed, I will be sending you, of course, a post-healing survey link by late tonight. And if you could fill it out, Wednesday, tomorrow at the earliest, or you could take a couple days to fill it out if you wish. And then I'll review it before the next healing, which is early next month, so that I can study results, see how it was for people. All right. But if you have follow-up questions about anything that we've done today and you don't get to say it right now in the chat and I don't get to answer it, just repost it under any video at any time, and I'll reply when I get a chance. Someone says, hello from Lakewood, Colorado, sunny 70 degrees. That sounds very, very nice. 70 degrees in April, wow. Someone says, hi, Janet, fellow West Coaster here, yes. I'm part of the 130, yes, that I healed, yes. I did the grounding and initial aura repair, but had to leave the live. I will come back to watch and work with the rest. Yes, well, you know, people do have jobs and things to do. That's why this remote healing stuff is so cool, because it's like you don't have to, you know, stop your life at this moment. You can catch up with the video later, and the healing works on you anyway. Anyway, you said accidentally press send. If you can please let me know how I did any important information I should have. I've been having PTSD flare-ups and a lot of worry. I'm so grateful for everything you do. I wonder, did you put that in your post-healing survey? You may not have, because I don't remember hearing that. It would be good to know, you know, if you do have time to fill out post-healing surveys, that's nice, because then I study them before the next healing. It'd be good to know if that's unusual for you. Like on the survey, there's space to write, like, is this, give context, is this usual for you? How often does this happen? So then I know, like, okay, this happens usually at the, you know, every month, or it happens often, or it never happens. You know, that'd be good to know. But anyway, it looks like your grounding keeps blocking up. So I don't know if you know to unblock your grounding when this happens. A lot of times, you know, if you're advanced already, then you know this kind of stuff. You're like, oh yeah, I know to check this, 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 and this. You know, so you can be really self-regulating. But when you're new or maybe even intermediate, it's like stuff doesn't necessarily occur to you. So yeah, as soon as you start feeling weird at all, just check your grounding, because these healings do help you release a lot. But then the grounding is like the plumbing, you know, going down to the core of the earth. So if that blocks up, then it's like a big traffic jam. And then if your grounding blocks up anywhere, then, you know, then everything blocks up, and then you feel more weird. But if you unblock your grounding, then it's like the tub drain, you know, starts draining properly, and then so everything starts releasing properly again. And so you can release a lot and not feel weird at all if it's all going down. But if it's starting to block up and fill up, and, you know, then you start feeling weird symptoms. I mean, you could have other things happen, like some people have, you know, their mom's always in their space, or their neighbors ripping their aura up and stuff, but that's not the case with you. It looks like with you, it's just simply your grounding gets really blocked, and then your spirit is still trying to release so much from the healing, so that it starts feeling quite strange. So yeah, just keep unblocking your grounding. It should be, your grounding gets narrow and it gets blocked. It should be as wide as all your auras, so as wide all the way out as like the heel of the palm of your hand. All the way down. So just you know, you can recreate your ground, get rid of the old ones, make new ones, but make sure they're nice and wide. Or you could just, you know, just get all those tangles melted away so they're wide again, very wide. And you can change the color. You know, sometimes red works best, sometimes orange works best, sometimes yellow works best. It's not the same for everybody all the time. So play with the color too once you get it unblocked, to see which color releases the fastest for you at this time. Because the more you release at once, the less symptoms you feel. Which also is true for grief. You know, the more grief you're actually releasing as opposed to letting it bottle up, the less you really feel. So hope that helps. And again, feel free, if that happens during any healing or as a result of any healing, or, you know, you don't even know if it's the result of it, it could be something else in your life, just fill out the survey, because then, post-healing survey, because then I can check and see if it was a part of the healing or if it's just something else. And I know if I need to alter the next healing for people. But anyway, okay, so yeah, so keep playing with unblocking your grounding and changing the color of it too, and keeping it nice and wide. So this is hi from Chicago. Sunny and springy here today. Oh, that's nice. I'm so glad for you guys. That's good. So this is hi Janet. You're mentioning your initials. Thank you. That's important because sometimes, you know, clients have the same first name a lot of times. Thanks for the healing. I'm dating someone new, and you mentioned his initials. Thank you. And sometimes I have a hard time figuring out if how I feel about him is baggage or intuition / angel advice. Is he angel approved? Yes, he is angel approved, but that's not saying like, okay, how long term is he? You know, like you can look at it like a yes or no. Is he angel approved for you to date at this time? You know, and that looks like a yes. And then you can look at like, okay, well, you know, if you're learning by dating this person, you know, because even if he's long term compatible, you know, you want to keep learning, right? Because sometimes, you know, old baggage gets in the way, like some past life baggage gets in the way of you enjoying a current relationship that you have. So that's, you know, it's always a valid question. Like, I'm feeling weird resistance in this relationship. Is that some past life baggage of mine or present life baggage of mine? Or is this just that I don't like the guy? You know, like when I dated my husband, my current husband, who's my second husband. Um, when early on, I wasn't used to somebody who was so sincere like him. I had dated a lot of jerks, and I sort of had this attraction to jerks just because of a lot of awful stuff in my past, you know. And so my husband, my current husband Lorenzo, he just was so sincere and straightforward that it was very off-putting. Like sometimes it wasn't, and I loved it, but sometimes it was like, you know, I was like, that's boring, you know, which is ridiculous. It was just old baggage in the way, you know. But because it's like if someone turns towards you more than you turn towards yourself, then it's off-putting. And so you want to keep working on your own self-acceptance and your own self-love and your own ability to see who you are, so that then you're not accidentally turned off by someone who can see who you are and who is very accepting of you and is very loving of you. You know, so thankfully I got over it. Because he's a great husband. And we've been together for 20 years this year now. But anyway, so I'm not saying that my situation that I just described is exactly the same as yours, but it speaks to what you were saying about, okay, is this old baggage in the way or not? And it does look like you are experiencing a lot of old baggage in the way that is coloring your perception of your current relationship with the person you mentioned. So yeah, so you can just do blanket exercise, or you can, you know, make big piles of the baggage and blow it up. You know, there are all sorts of ways that we've done to melt baggage, you know, if you want to blow it up or set it on fire with gold light, whatever. But yeah, it's good to clear old baggage that is affecting your perception of your relationship and your enjoyment of your relationship. And that's true for everybody, whether you're married or not. And even too, if you're single, you know, clear baggage that would affect your perception of a prospective partner, would affect your enjoyment in a relationship. So that way, when you do finally manifest a relationship, you have less in the way. And you'll probably still have to clear stuff, but it'll be, you know, maybe you'll cut it way down. So instead of, you know, 90% baggage in the way, you'll only have 20% baggage in the way when you finally get the relationship. So then there'll be less to work through at the time. So you can definitely do a lot of advanced work if you are single. But yeah, if you have a relationship, yeah, just keep clearing old baggage that is affecting your perception of this relationship and this person. So I hope that helps. Thank you for your question. Someone says, thank you so much for the healing, Janet. Just got back from a vacation in New York City, and I feel very drawn to that city, even though it's unrealistic to live there. What's going on there? Your angels liken it to an appetizer man versus an entree man. Like an appetizer man in a relationship, dating, love life concept is somebody that you may need to date, but it's not long term compatible. The appetizer man is an experience you need to have. You know, you need to date this person. It's beneficial for you, but you kind of can outgrow that relationship, and you know there stuff for you to learn, and then you're different. You've changed, and now you don't need that appetizer man anymore. So your angels say it's kind of like an appetizer city for you before your entree city. So they don't discount that it is helpful and you are genuinely drawn towards it, but they just feel like it's more of an appetizer city, and that's okay. So you could visit again, or you could just do more or watch more about New York City or whatever, just to kind of have your appetizer city experience. um, so hope that helps. Um, Also, of course, there are a lot of suburbs to New York City. There's a lot of communities even an hour out from New York City, in all sorts of directions. So, um, and there are places, communities in like nearby states that are still pretty close to New York City, because New York City is pretty further down in the state, so it's not that far from parts of New Jersey or parts of Connecticut. So, uh, it could be that your angels are trying to get you to consider as entree cities some cities on the outskirts of New York City, in one of those states, New York City or New York State or Connecticut or New Jersey or somewhere like that. All right, cool. Someone says, "Hi, Janet. So sorry for your loss." Meaning, I announced at the start of this towards the start of this live stream, that one of our three dogs passed away, and we helped her have a compassionate, gentle end at the vet's office, because it was time. So anyway, so sorry for your loss. I hope she's okay now, and angels are giving her nice healings. Oh yeah, she's fine. The minute she crossed over, I could tell she was like jumping around. Yeah, because like I had forgotten, because when she had been sick for a while, and so I mean, aging, feeling the effects of whatever, all the symptoms that she had for a while, and so it was like I kind of forgot how much energy she had, like as a spirit, because like she was really, like when we first got her, she was really like a bulldozer, kind of like a bowling ball, an unstoppable force, and she the whole time she was a very dominant personality. With the other two dogs, she was like pretty much in charge. But as she got, the her body started, being done, she got so low energy. But yeah, as soon as she crossed over, it was like, oh yeah, I remember you have a lot of energy, don't you? So yeah, she's good to go. she's 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 more than okay now. So yeah, that's nice. She's definitely okay. Um, her spirit didn't, her spirit got a lot of healings when she was with us. So it was really just that her body was dragging her down because it was so old and sickly. So then after that, she's a big ball of energy again. Someone says, thank you. So thank you for your kind wishes. So thank you so much, Janet. Missed a lot, but did rivers with you. Wondering if angels have any love life advice for me. Think it's progressing and flashes of light, happy energy. Meeting someone first time in 12 days, but feeling nervous. Yeah, I mean, your angels do seem very like, you know, both thumbs up. They're like, yo, yay, go for it. You know, it seems like you have been making progress in clearing old baggage out of your love life space and getting people out of your love life space, some that are loved ones, some that are used to be in your life. Um, you could do like a love life river, you know, since we did this river technique, you know, and you could do a love life river and just look at the stuck energy at the bottom of the river, at the bottom of your love life river, and use red earth energy and gold light, and you know, both gold light and red earth energy, and just so that the love life river is more likely to release downward to the core of the earth. um, you know, just to help with what you've already been doing as far as clearing all baggage and being ready for uh, a healthy present time relationship. Yeah, so maybe that, if that's okay with you, just a love life river. um, yeah, the nervous is just a little bit of old past life baggage that you could clear. Also, sometimes your Kundalini chakra spins a little bit too fast, and that revs up your first chakra a little bit too much, which contributes to that nervousness. So you can make sure your first layer of both your regular auras is not compressed, that it's nice and wide. So gold light right around your body, gold light and red earth energy if you want, right around your body, so that that first layer expands more. And then the Kundalini chakra below the first chakra, they're both red, the first chakra and the Kundalini chakra. Excuse the cat food can in there. But so if this was red paper, that'd be a better thing. But so first chakra, and then Kundalini chakra is about half the size of it, but it's the same cylinder shape right underneath the first chakra. So first chakra, Kundalini chakra. And this one can over rev if you get excited, particularly, you know, sexually or romantically. It just can like generate a whole ton of energy. Like imagine like kids going nuts at recess, you know, that's like too much Kundalini energy. You know, before puberty, it's not necessarily a sexual energy, it's just like revs them up, you know. But with adults, it can over rev you too, but it can also be like a, you know, a sexual thing, or, you know, just enthusiasm. But anyway, you can calm it down, you know. So it's like a low, obviously off when you're trying to sleep, but like a low, you know, when you're just wanting like a daily peppiness, you know. But it looks like your Kundalini gets like, it starts spinning like way fast, like a blender on high speed, and you want it to be a blender on low speed when you're awake, and then a blender that's off when you're not awake. So I have a Kundalini playlist. If you need me to link that below, just comment under the video and I'll link it below. Comment under the video once this live stream is done. Okay, someone says, hi Janet, my daughters, and you're mentioning their initials, spent the weekend with their dad and their energy seemed really out of whack yesterday and this morning. What can I do to help them when this happens? Okay, so what happened was your husband, ex-husband, I guess, or estranged husband, whatever legally we want to say. Anyway, he didn't do anything extra invasive with your daughters. You know, both parents have a first chakra cord, which is fine and appropriate. But they took on some of his burdens, and kids just do that. So you can have your, ask your kids' angels to get your kids classes in their sleep about not taking on parental burdens. because there are special classes that any of us could take for that in our sleep. And they're like little special kid versions of those classes. So your kids can take kid versions of those classes about, angel classes in their sleep about not taking on parental burdens. So then, because his energy is a lot heavier than yours these days because you're all separate and independent and work in your empowerment and everything. So your energy is flowing way better than it used to. And so there's not as much that they could even take on, even if they tried. I mean, there's some, but not as much. But then they're on him, and he's just as heavy as he used to be. And so there's just, all of a sudden they took on a bunch of his heaviness. So yeah, just get them angel classes about that. Yeah, because it's better, it's more of a long-term learning issue. I mean, you can have them, get clean outs from their angels about that. Just say, angels, can you clean out my kids? They took on some of my husband's heaviness. But the angel classes are better so that on a spirit level, your kids learn. So that, because it's not like he's going to lighten up tomorrow, and be light as a feather from now on, so it's something that they ideally would learn. And then that would help them in life a lot. So yeah, angel classes for your kids. Somebody says, have to sign off. These healings have given me and my family a big jump forward. That's nice, thank you. I have been coughing during my meditation in the past 2 mornings. Please give me insight as to what is going on. Thank you. I'm wondering if you're drinking room temperature or cold liquids, because I'm reminded of, like in traditional Chinese medicine, there are 2 kinds of cough, sort of as a generalization in Chinese medicine. And I'm not a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner, I have like this much training, and to be a practitioner you'd have to have like this much training. So just for context, it is always nice to have a pro traditional Chinese medicine acupuncturist, herbalist, that you could go see if you need to. But anyway, but sort of a quick and dirty cheat of coughing within Chinese medicine. Very funny. Yeah, right. There are 3. 3 things with coughing. One of them can be just, having energy thrown at you towards your throat chakra. Particularly if you have rips in your telepathic mesh, which is this gold mesh that's right here in your 5th layer of your aura. 5th layer relates to 5th chakra. So if that mesh is torn up, it's easier for energy to come right at your chakra. If it's whole, then it's like a nice little flowy force field, so it's harder for external energy to harm your 5th chakra and even cord it, or throw hard objects or whatever, right? So you want, flowy, strong all around in your 5th layer, and especially have that, repair any rips in your telepathic mesh. So that's one reason, and my angels just demonstrated that for us all. That if you get energy thrown at you and it harms your chakra in some way, like a little damage or a bunch of cords or just a lot of foreign energy coming through into that chakra, it'll make you cough. So that's more of like a boundaries, energy safety kind of issue, maybe some chakra damage, aura damage kind of issue, telepathic mesh damage. The other 2 reasons are if you have internal heat right here, too much heat, or if you have cold, too much internal cold here. External cold that came internal, blah, 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 blah. So if it's cold, if maybe you're drinking cold liquids, which make it worse, or room temperature, which is colder than your body, so that would make it worse. So some people, they just always drink cold liquids, but which may be fine for them sometimes, but other times they have an internal cold. They have too much internal cold as it is, and then they drink cold water, which makes it worse, and then they keep coughing, and then they keep drinking cold water trying to fix it, and they're making it worse and worse and worse, and they keep coughing. So that could be the case. If your throat is sore, like it hurts, like a sore throat, then that's internal heat. In which case, kind of look at what you're eating and make sure you're not eating anything, you know, too warming, like too spicy or warming foods. So that's a little soapbox speech about coughing. So I think for you, it may be a combination of internal cold in general, and internal cold may be provoked by what you're drinking, and also some lack of safety here, your throat chakra being, you know, getting too much foreign energy coming at it. So you can, you know, obviously repair here in your fifth layer, and then, you know, if you have invasive beings throwing energy right there, just get them recycled. You know, see, okay, how many invasive beings are throwing energy at my throat chakra? 10. Okay, angels, can you recycle all of them? You don't have to know exactly how many, but it's just kind of geeky and interesting. So, yeah, hope that helps. So this is, I feel mellow post-healing, but also exhausted. I assume this is from my vacation, but I've also been feeling this way for the past month. How did my husband see? Context, always helpful. How did my husband do? And you mentioned his initials. Also feeling spacey. Your creative rings are whole, but there is some weirdness in the back, like towards the back of your creative rings. There's a lot of white. Yeah, it just looks like a couple invasive beings that are like really trying hard to stay in your space. It's like you knocked him out of a whole bunch of meridians using that meridian river technique while we knocked him out. But yeah, so you can say, okay, are there any invasive beings still messing with me, causing weird symptoms? And say, angels, can you recycle these beings? And just check your flaps, because your flaps are wide open. So then, you know, imagine your creative rings and the balloons for the representing the people, balloons representing the invasive beings, and just, you know, melt the cords from the invasive people and, you know, get more of the invasive beings recycled. But it doesn't look like anything else. Your chakras are fine. Your creative rings are whole. They're just the flaps are too open. Yeah, so I hope that helps. Your husband, the rivers technique, I think, is especially good for him, but you can let me know how he's doing in the post-healing survey. But I think, I think this meridian work has been good for him, but I'm thinking that the river technique, because the part one where we did the sludge, we got rid of the muddy sludge to the extent that's healthy and gentle. His angels really like that. So we'll see. We'll see how he does. Someone says, thank you, Janet. The visualization of heavy shadows and leaks in these three rivers was really helpful. But what about when there is not enough flow in the river, such as being deficient in blood supply? So, okay, so lack of, yeah, so traditional Chinese medicine, they might use that word deficient. So if you think of it like an engineer or a mechanic, right? Like each of these meridians, you could think of it like a river, right? But then there are acupuncture points, which we didn't really acknowledge with the meridian river technique. But so they're like little motors in the river, right? So if the river is like a big tube, then there are little chakras within that river, right? And so if you don't have enough energy, it could be a couple things. But one thing is the chakras, you know, might be so jammed up they're not generating enough energy, because chakras create energy. They also perpetuate the energy flow like a room fan would, you know, like keeping the energy flowing down the meridian, but they also actually create energy. So you might not, so you can look at, like, say if you know the meridian because you go to acupuncture or whatever, or you've just read all your 12 meridians and you know which one's sufficient or which two are deficient. You know, it can be probably two potential reasons. One of them, the most likely one, is just that those chakras within that meridian are not generating energy or generating enough energy. And so they're too blocked, maybe too damaged. And so the more you heal and repair them and kind of wake them up just with gold light and red earth energy, then they can generate enough energy, right? So then you have more volume of energy in that river. But another thing is that, so the second reason why you can have a deficiency, if you're thinking about it like a, like an energy hero, like a mechanic, is that, the life force flows from one river to the next, to the next, to the next, right? So the question is, are you getting enough energy in that river from the river before it? Like what about the, the first point in the deficient river, is that too dammed up? So you're just not getting enough life force from the river before it, and that could be true as well. So you could have just some energy blocks, in the chakras towards the end of the river before it. And then if you unblock those, then more life force comes into this river that looks deficient. And so then you have more volume in there. So it could be a little of both, that there's not enough life force flowing into it from the river right before it. But then also it could be that the chakras within that deficient river are just not doing their job and generating energy enough. So you can work both those things. But again, healthy, gentle, keep that in mind as your intention. You could also have massive leaks in the river, but you do not, because you only had some leaks and then you took care of them today. So it's not leaks that is the problem. So I hope that helps. Someone says, thank you, Janet. How am I doing? Anything I can work on? Sure, always. So let's see. Okay, so between you and your spouse, and this is true for everybody, if you have somebody that you have like a less than ideal relationship with, maybe there's conflicts, boundary issues, stuff like that, right? So with the person that just asked that question, with you and your spouse, sometimes you have just good boundaries, like you're getting stronger and more present, which is a fact. And so that flow, that level of presence, that gives you more volume of energy flowing of your energy. So it's like a really strong dishwasher, so so that's sort of like half of how you have boundaries with your spouse, is just being stronger and more present. But then you try also to have boundaries by like putting up walls, and those walls are very resistant. And so that's not helping. And so those walls tend to make you more resistant, and it doesn't really help you to have strong boundaries with your spouse. And so that stuff actually tends to, since it keeps you in resistance, it makes you more triggered and less present, so that counteracts all the good work that you're doing. Not 100%, but it's sort of like 3 steps forward, 1 step back, right? So the idea would be to look at you and your husband and look at, what have you put up in between you and him? And only put up, like, only have the angels, it's better to have angels put it up, like a gold flowy force field, as, extra angel protection boundaries between you and him, but no like big brick walls of resistance from you. Like, just check and just, and don't touch his walls if he has big negative walls up, whatever, that's his thing. But check your walls, see if you have any walls up between you and him. And just, you can run gold light through them and help, ask the angels to help you, so that you clear your resistance and your any repressed anger or whatever that went into making that wall, just so that then you work on having the safe, healthy, centering, empowering walls. Well, not walls, the safe, healthy, empowering version of boundaries, versus this resistant kind of holding something up in between you and that person, which only makes things, only weakens you. So there's that. Also, I think the rivers technique that we did today could help you on a physical level. So I think that of all the healings we did, your angels, like, this month, your angels like today's one the most for you, just because it's so simple and approachable to do the rivers technique the way we did it, and look at that stagnant energy in the rivers and use red earth energy and gold light and get all those rivers releasing downward, you know, and also like what I told that person just the question right before you, just to you can imagine little motors in the rivers, you know, little chakras in the rivers, and just heal them so that they're making enough energy. Because there may be little parts of, because the big river represents 12 rivers, like one that goes into the next, that goes into the next, that goes into the next, right? So it's a series of rivers. And you can notice maybe some of the rivers are more deficient, right? And so just heal those extra so that the little chakras within them generate more volume of energy, so that, you know, you can work on increasing, not only melting away the stuck mud at the bottom of the river, but increasing the volume, to the extent that's healthy and gentle, the volume of your life force that flows through your primary meridians. So I hope that helps. We work on increasing the volume of energy that's generated by these meridian chakras, and also, you know, melt away the stuck sediment at the bottom using gold light and red earth energy like we did today in the meridian river technique. So I hope that helps. So this is, hi Janet, greetings from Chicago, hello to you. Wondering about my grounding cord. I've been cleaning it out about once a week, maybe less. I forget to do it. Can you give it a look? Once a week, girl. You could do it in just 60 seconds, you know? Yeah, I think it gets pretty narrow and it gets blocked in the back half often. So like when you unblock it, let's say you unblock it on a Wednesday, it's good till about Wednesday evening. And then it gets narrow and blocked in the back. So then Thursday, it's like you have other healthy habits you do, so that kind of half unblocks it without you consciously doing it. So then you have like a half unblocked, half big enough grounding on the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. So you're kind of skating on that your other healthy habits have an indirect beneficial effect on your grounding, but it'd be easier if you just added a minute of working on your grounding, because then you'd feel a lot better. I think it looks like you would. So yeah. Maybe how you're doing it is more complicated and that's causing you to put it off. Like, just make it easy. You can wiggle your butt at the same time, make it funny. That would be like an inner child moment, you know. You can put gold glitter in your grounding, you know, along with the red earth energy and the gold and the or the orange earth energy or the yellow earth energy. Just, you know, put some gold glitter in it, put like a, you know, your favorite song in it or something, you know, just to like have fun, you know. Something so that you're not so avoidant. Yeah, you could actually too. You could clear avoidance. What are you avoiding? Because it looks like there's something that you've been, like it keeps getting triggered, like some kind of emotional baggage, and it keeps getting triggered, and it makes you not want to be super grounded because you're not wanting to deal with it. It'd just be easier if you cleared it. It's like doing laundry. The longer you put it off, it just gets worse. So clearing avoidance is probably even more important for you than unblocking your grounding, but they go hand in hand. So, you know, don't make it complicated. Just make a mountain of whatever you're avoiding and blow it up, you know, a couple times. And then, you know, unblock your grounding, put some gold glitter in there too for fun, you know, and just be done with it. You know. But I mean, ideally for you, for the rate of growth and progress that you want to have, you would ideally clear avoidance and unblock your grounding 2 to 3 times a day, like a minute each. You know, a minute 3 times a day, so 3 minutes total each day. Because you gotta be realistic and think, okay, well, how much growth and positive change do I want, and then are my habits supporting that goal so that it's actually going to happen? Yeah, so it's more of a realistic thing versus like just wishful thinking, you know. So yeah, ideally 3 times a day, clear avoidance and unblock your grounding and make it wide again, and have fun with it. So up to you, but anyway, that's what I'm hearing from your angels. So it says, loved this healing. It feels very gentle. Thank you. Oh, nice. I feel so sick of the environment I am in. It derails my progress. Am I even a match to having my own living space? Any angel advice? Your angels give like a maybe to that. They think that there's a lot of past life baggage that you have triggered by your current, by the family members you live with right now. It triggers a lot of past life baggage of yours. And so just like I talked to somebody towards the beginning of the Q&A about sometimes your past baggage can affect how you perceive a relationship. And that's true for a romantic relationship, but also true for family relationships. So you can clear all the baggage that gets triggered by your mom being the way she is. You know, all your old baggage could be from past lives, from people that are not even her. You know, same thing, clear all the baggage that gets triggered by your daughter being the way she is. It could be baggage from her in past that you've had in past lives with her, but just baggage from other sisters or other daughters and other female relationships. So they don't mind if ultimately, you know, maybe you live with your daughter without your mom in the same apartment. But they feel like before you make a decision on that, there's a lot of baggage that you would ideally clear that gets triggered by those two relationships. So they're like, don't decide yet. Clear a lot more baggage about it. So yeah, being around your daughter and your mother, it's not that really derails your progress. It's your baggage that gets triggered by the situation that derails your progress. So it's just you haven't finished clearing all your baggage about them. You haven't really gotten to that part. Usually you're just like, okay, can I keep them out of my space? Can I give them flowers so they're less you know, triggered and invasive? But you haven't gotten to the part so much where you just clear baggage about, you know, other lifetimes where you've had aggressive moms or verbally abusive moms, other past lives where you've had kids that you know, don't always get along with. Okay, hope that helps. Clear your baggage, girl. You can do it. Someone says, I feel grounded and like I'm in my own 2 feet. Yay. Yeah, meridian work is so funny. Like, it's like, I mean, you know, most of my clients that have gotten a lot of healings from me, they know what chakra work, how it makes them feel better. You know, but meridian work can make you feel better in like, in similar ways, but also different, very different ways. Like it can make your hips feel like they, you know, like they're glued on better or something. Or like, you know, make it feel like your leg is better connected to the rest of your body, or your arm is more of a part of the rest of your body. Just because the meridians, you know, literally go all the way through, you know, from your eye to your toe and your tip of your finger and to your, by your ear and blah, blah, blah. So it's like all that connectivity, getting that all revamped. It's a really interesting feeling. So I'm glad you and your feet are having a better relationship. That's awesome. Feet are very important. Half your meridians either begin or end in your feet. So half your 12 primary meridians. Someone said hello from Ottawa, Canada. Many big changes are happening. Am I staying grounded and am I keeping my strong boundaries? More or less. I mean, you go back and forth between like, okay, I'm present, I can do this, and what? I'm freaking out. This isn't what I expected. But I mean, you're more able to pull yourself out of a freak out, and the freakouts aren't as, you know, you don't like vacate the premises as much. Usually you're like in some of your chakras when you're freaking out. Whereas before you used to just like go far, far away and hide in a past life or something. But now it's just like you'll only be in some of your chakras if you're freaked out. So that's definitely progress. You stay in the building, which is good. When you're awake, stay in the building. Stay in your body. Your body is your command center when you're awake. So yeah, you could do more earth energy soaks maybe. Maybe work with like chakra filaments, you know, the good cords that are connecting your major chakras to each other, the seventh astral to the seventh physical, all the way down to first physical to first astral chakras. You know, just unblock and heal those filaments so that you get better flow there. Because sometimes when you freak out, then everything cramps up and tightens up. You know, it's like if you block up, it blocks you up like 20%, but then you freak out about it and that blocks you up like 70%. You know, the freak out for you is still more of the problem than the actual thing that happened that caused, that provoked the freak out. So you could do some inner child healing. You know, whatever parts of your inner child need the most healing. Because I think that might be what is the strength behind the freak out is just some inner child parts needing healing. So chakra filaments and inner child healing stuff. And tricolor soaks, maybe. Someone says, hi, Janet. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish all these. La la la. Hi, Janet. And then you're listing all your family members that I healed. I'm learning with walkthrough. Are my estranged siblings maintaining old, deep sludge in TCM of me, my daughter, and my son? Yeah, okay, that's a little compressed and hard to understand, but I mean, the sludge in the rivers, right? The muddy stuff at the bottom of the rivers, it's not your energy. So it could be energy from your kids. It could be energy from your siblings, your estranged siblings. It could be energy from a past life of yours or from your parents that you took on, you know, during when you were in the womb or during childhood. So it's usually not just one thing, you know. It's usually a whole bunch of those different things. So I mean, you did clear some in the healing, and the red earth energy with the gold light for that sludge is helping. Some of those meridians still don't have great release yet, so you can, you know, just remind yourself that that big river representing all the 12 meridians is one river going into the next, going to the next, going to the next, going to the next. So you can pinpoint which rivers need more help, and you don't have to like figure out, okay, that one is the gallbladder river and that one is the spleen river, you know, just you know, high level, just be like, okay, I think that river isn't releasing, so gold light and red earth energy, okay, now it's releasing. Okay, that river isn't releasing either, gold light, red earth energy, okay, now it's releasing. You know, so you could do a little more of that. But yeah, it's some of the stuck energy is from your estranged siblings, yes. So someone says, thank you so much. I feel better physically and also less anxious about my well-being. That's nice. I didn't Google my symptoms. I felt like a little kid asking myself, am I going to die over a scratch yesterday? May I please have angel advice on what I may be missing when I try to heal my foundation? Maybe you're thinking of the 4 essentials? I feel like I stopped healing myself too early. Thank you. Yeah, you could do some inner child healing too, because I think you have parts of your inner child that are just really freaked out, and sometimes you kind of feel them a little too strongly, and it's very distracting for you. But it doesn't look like someone else's energy in your space. It looks like little parts of your inner child are just not happy. And so just imagine, like, you know, 3 at a time or 1 at a time, whatever you want, but heal the inner child parts of you that are most freaking out. And maybe most freaking out when you try to meditate too. So hope that helps. Someone says, that's so funny about Appetizer City. My husband liked it as well, and he was really surprised. We've been so focused on the West Coast, so we didn't even think about that area. So sorry to hear about your dog. Oh, that's fine. It's actually, my life is like exponentially easier now that she's an angel dog. I call them angel dogs, but they're not angels. They're dogs in spirit form now. But anyway, I had a dog like that before who I loved so much. I mean, I still love her, obviously, but some dogs some pets you have, they're just so high maintenance to have them, and you still love them a lot, but it's like when they pass, your life is like night and day easier. And that was true with a dog that I had before, named Lily, who was so awesome, but for various reasons, it was just like a full-time job. Like I always had to be vigilant. Maybe not a full-time job, but sort of a very distracting part-time job. and Daisy, towards the last like year, has been a really big deal as far as work, time, vigilance, everything. So now that she's in spirit form only, she's much happier, and I am. It's like, oh my gosh, so much easier for me. It's insane. So it's a good thing for everyone. Someone says, love the love story of you and your hubby, power of love. Also, which, it's interesting, love versus compatibility. You can love someone but not be compatible with them. So it's really a story of love and compatibility. Just for teaching moment there. Love is not all you need. You need compatibility. You can love people that you're not at all compatible with, and that's an unhealthy relationship, but you can definitely love them. And so then you have to realize, okay, wait, is this person compatible with me? Okay, so thank you for the information about your pup and your compassion. You're welcome. So this is, thank you for the healing, Janet. These traditional Chinese medicine energy healing made me so nappy. I think also somebody's courting your third chakra. I mean, it is true sometimes that, when you clear a lot out of your body, a nap is like priceless. But I think for you too, somebody's courting your third chakra. I think it's your ex-husband. He's trying to court your first chakra, but it's not working. But he's also courting your third chakra. So when someone courts your third chakra, or if it blocks it for some other reason, you can feel really sleepy. Because like your third chakra kind of like it gets calmer, it generates less energy when you're getting ready for sleep. And so if it's generating less energy because someone's courting it, it's getting way down, you feel like, okay, sleepy time. So you can melt that cord from your ex-husband and then see if you still need a nap or not. You may, but you can see. And you can use a gold sun to call your energy back from your ex-husband into the gold sun, and then have your angels clean it off extra and give it to yourself. You can do that for a while. It's true with exes sometimes, not all exes, but sometimes you have an ex that they're just not okay with you moving on. And so yeah, just keep calling your energy back and melting away cords. Obviously your boundaries with him are way stronger than before, but it's a little bit of a thing these days. So it says, thanks. Funny, when doing heavy meridian rivers, was thinking doing it on Love Life River would be good. You heard your angels. Good for you. That's very nice. Someone says, oh, that is so cute that there are kid level angel classes. Yeah. Thank you so much for that advice. I feel great after the healing. Really noticed an increase in focus after this TCM work. Isn't that great? So it says, hi, Janet. Thanks for the healing. I've been very productive doing tasks I resist during the healing today. Yay! Wondering if there's angel advice for moving forward with my startup. Just that you mentioned in your survey about that guy, and he's not going to be a part of your startup after whatever contest you guys are in, and your angels, I mean, your instinct is right that that's meant to be, that's okay, that he's just being intuitive about like, yeah, I think the karma's done with me and this project once we're done with that, like that chapter. So it's not like something bad that happened. You know, he's just there for a certain phase. That's like, you guys have some positive past life, you know, karma together that you wanted to work together, but you don't really need to work together long term. It's more of a short term working together. Um, they do, your angels do like, even though it's, you know, your questions about the startup, they like working the rivers that we did today. And think of like how that big river is 12 rivers, one going into the next, going to the next. And think of if you have deficient rivers, you know, which ones are deficient, and just heal them with gold light and red earth energy until you sort of see them perk up, like they have more volume in them. Because they say sometimes your rivers, you know, some of them will be going really strong, and then there'll be two in a row that are really deficient. So just check them out and, you know, make your rivers, you know, the motors within the rivers generate enough energy so that each river has enough energy. Also, that callback bring in, it's a video if you need it. If you search Janet Wright, callback bring in. But you know, you're calling back your energy from other people or wherever you left it, and then you're bringing in new energy that is kind of queued up but hasn't come in yet. So that would be nice for your startup. Just call back, bring in. You could use that video. Someone says, hi, Janet. You mentioned your initials, 76 degrees in the windy desert. Can you give me a message advice from my angels, please? Thank you. Yeah, you're having some boundary issues with one person in particular, and they tend to stand right behind you. It's a person. I think if you like had like top three guesses of who it is, one of them would be totally right. So it's not like a shockingly surprise thing, you know, but there's this one person and you just kind of let them walk behind you like half of your day each day, and your angels are like, yeah, stop that. So it's not somebody you really dislike, but it's just somebody you're kind of used to having in your space and you just don't call them on it. So they're like, it's time. You need to stop that. You need your focus. You need all the energy you can get, you know. So yeah, just work on washing one person in particular, really, out of the back. They're sort of in the back, like left, your back left of your auras. So just wash them out. And you don't have to know who it is, really. You can just imagine that and wash that person out. So it says, happy to hear about Izzy, oh, Daisy, and her spirit. Yeah. Yeah, she's such a force of nature. God. So the problem was when she was stuck, she would kind of inspire all the other dogs. You know, like if she was like freaked out, she would inspire all the other dogs to freak out. So it was complicated with her. But now she's not imbalanced. But she still has a ton of energy. She's like a big tidal wave of energy. Someone says, thanks, Shanna. Ironically, lately I was thinking of needing to work on past life baggage. There you go. You're hearing your angels. I sense there's a lot to clear and it's kind of boring. Kind of boring. You're so silly. That's resistance. It's not boring. I mean, like one of those lives you were a butcher. One of those lives you were a hunter. One of those lives you had 3 husbands. Not at the same time. One of those lives, you know, you had no siblings and you always wished you had siblings, and you know, your dad died early and your mom was a tyrant, you know, like they're fascinating lives, you know. And so if you think, oh, past lives are boring, you know, something's up with your head. You know, some of these lives, you know, you were rich, some were you were poor, some you were in between, you know, some you had lots of siblings, some you had no siblings, you know. It's very interesting stuff. You think about it, you know. So yeah, if you're thinking, boring, past lives, who cares? That's some inner resistance that you have. Sometimes you resist the things that would most help you and make you happier, which is silly but true. So you can just, you know, imagine the most resistant parts of you. They may or may not be inner child parts of you, and just heal those parts of you that are the most resistant. Most resistant to past life healing, or most resistant in general. Yeah. Yeah, I think, yeah, the problem is you just have too much resistance. And so you're making something that's inherently sort of interesting, boring. So yeah, just work on healing the most resistant parts of you. And then your own imagination will figure out fun ways to clear energy. I mean, there's so many ways. To clear past life baggage, just, you know, blow it up, make it into fireworks, have it explode in the sky. Or, you know, put it in a gold dumpster and burn it with gold light. Or, you know, it doesn't matter how you do it. It's just that you do it. You know, it could just be like a minute twice a day. It doesn't have to be a lot. So yeah, if you're like, oh my God, I just can't do it, then something's up. It's more of a resistance problem. Okay, good. So on that note, hope everybody's going to have a good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever's next. And this concludes the healings of this month. And all this month, April 2023, we've been doing extra healing for the traditional Chinese medicine meridians and all the energy systems that go with them. And like I said, they'll all be in one playlist, which will be linked below. And also in the info section of this video, that playlist will be linked. And yeah, there's really no news for the rest of the month from me. And then the May triplet set, which is mind-blowing. That's the next healing set, but it is. The May triplet set starts on May 5th, which is the first Friday in May. That's when they all start. It's on the first Friday of May. First Friday of the month. So the schedule is on my website, janetwrightreadings.com. So you can go and check out the themes and the dates and all that fun stuff. All right, you're amazing. And I guess, what do I want to show at the end? I'll just show Izzy. He's so cute. So we'll do a little Izzy cam. So that's Izzy right there. He's sleeping. Izzy busy. Izzy. 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 Come here. Come here, buddy. Come here. He's like, Mom, are you really talking to me? I'm really talking to you, I promise. Come here. Come here, come here, come here. There we go. What a good boy. What a good boy. What a good boy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Such a good boy. Yes, you are. I put a little flour on him. Yes, weren't you a good boy? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Alrighty. Well, that's the Izzy cam for today. Alrighty. So, see you later, you guys. I hope you have a good rest of the month. And next healing will be in May, which is blowing my mind completely. All right, you're awesome. Talk to you later.